Yesterday, I quickly brewed up a new Aetherdrift deck with 4 stock up and 4 repurposing bay. Let's find a way to tutor up Time Vault Key. Welcome back, Vintage Gamers, to another Aetherdrift special. This is going to be a Vintage challenge. I did play a challenge last night off stream with a similar version of this deck to a 3-3 finish, so I have some reasonably high expectations for what we're doing today. Today is our Repurposing Bay video. This is a 3-mana artifact, tap 2 in it, sack another artifact, and go 1 up the chain, only as a sorcery. So at its core, this deck is a mono blue Turbo Volt Key deck. We're trying to assemble infinite turns with Time Vault plus Manifold Key or Voltaic Key, and we're going to tutor that up with, Repurposing Bay and Tinker. I am trying to cast high cost spells in this deck, so we are going to play a bunch of Ancient Tombs, because at our core, we're doing like Repurposing Bay, and then our draw engines are stock ups from Aetherdrift as well, and then the One Ring. One thing this deck does have somewhat of a problem with is dealing itself a lot of damage between Ancient Tomb, the One Ring, Sink into Stupor as a land, untapped. You do a lot of damage to yourself, so we need to keep track of how much damage we're doing to ourselves, especially when you start losing every mana crypt flip. Things get dicey really fast. We do have, of course, the ability to Tinker for a Bolas of Citadel. This is not the best Tinker for Bolas of Citadel deck, but it's still pretty good. And then we have our assorted restricted cards with 6 forces to back them up. There are some weird ones in the deck just because we are a Repurposing Bay deck. We are kind of a Birthing Pod deck. We need to be able to go up the chain. I'd really like to be able to go from the One Ring to Citadel if possible. So I do have things like the One Ring into Golos into Citadel up the chain. Golos on its own is not that bad. You can find your Talon Gates as a phasing creature spell, or your Academy for a ton of mana, or your Saga for creatures. Yeah, Golos is just a generically strong creature, and then Metamorph is giving you a little bit more utility. You can do things like Repurposing Bay. If you have like a ton of mana, sometimes you go like Repurposing Bay, repurpose a monolith into a Repurposing Bay, Repurposing Bay, Repurposing Bay into a One Ring. So there's a lot of things like that. But most of the time, almost all the time, you are just looking to try to assemble Time Vault and Key. So kind of a boring deck, actually. I was wondering if I would even stream it, because I don't think it's like the most exciting thing, but I do want to get a video with the Repurposing Bay, because I specifically talked about it being one of the interesting cards coming out of Aetherdrift. So here we've got 8 Aetherdrift cards with 4 stock up for Repurposing Bay inside of a pretty interesting, it's like somewhat like a Jewel deck, but it's actually not really like a Jewel deck, because it's not close to as fast. It's closer to like a Sean Dissolutionist Ring deck. I don't know if you ever remember on this channel, we used to play some versions of Sean's like Mana Drain One Ring deck. It's more similar to that deck than to Jewel. It's probably a little bit closer to like classic Esper Tinker than to Jewel. So it's a weird deck. It doesn't really fit a lot of what's going on in the format right now, but it definitely hits on a power level wise, just with very consistent Time Vault Key, and then obviously lots and lots of forces. So I see you in round 1. The legendary NYSE Open returns to Long Island in New York. This 9th installment will be a 15 proxy, $500 entry fee tournament where the top 8 will return home with 8 pieces of real unlimited power. Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxens will be part of this celebration of vintage. At 100 players, there'll be an additional wacky draft with classic booster packs from Ice Age to Onslaught, the NYC trophy, Karn altars, $1,000 in giveaways, dealers, and much, much more. Check out the link below for all the details. I hope to see you there. Let's battle. Okay, welcome to round 1 of this vintage challenge. We're playing against this Magic player. They did go 2-4 in their last challenge last night with this very interesting version of Sphere of Resistance Workshops. It has some null rods, which is going to be a pretty big problem. And then just an interesting eclectic gathering of artifact creatures. So should be an interesting one. I don't know if they'll replay it again if they went 2-4, but we'll see. Good luck. Have fun. I'm on the play, which is very nice in the pseudo workshop mirror. I have a Force of Will, and I don't have the ability to play a turn 1 ring, unfortunately, but this hand is clearly good, so let's keep. It'll be interesting trying to figure out if I want to force a sphere on turn 1. Leaning towards you probably have to, but I'm not excited about it. As you can see, you can already see our life total starting to diminish here with Ancient Tombs getting tapped multiple times. This thing can take 3 if I want to use it as an island, so that was definitely a problem I had last night in my testing challenge. The deck just does a lot of self-damage. And then there are a lot of decks that are attacking with creatures right now. So when you combine taking 10 damage on your own, plus your opponent attacking with a 3-power creature, things get a little annoying. So we have to be at least mindful of that. Ooh, Black Lotus. That's annoying. Let's see what our opponent has for us. Likely pitching stock up to force if we have to, because we should have enough action with just the ring. Ghost Quarter. I have tons of basic islands in my deck. Ooh, unlucky for my opponent. They did not see me having a bunch of basic islands in my deck, so I have 4. This is actually 1 less than I played last night. But I do have a basic island. And then 3 blue for a Trinisphere. Interesting. I could let this go. Oh yeah, stock up is quite the magic card. I missed it. I just didn't see it in the spoiler season. Sometimes it's just you don't look at all the commons and uncommons, which I probably should do because commons and uncommons seem to have a higher hit rate in vintage from standard than rares do, which does make sense. But yeah, I just missed it, and it's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. I don't think I want to deal with a Trinisphere. I mean, I could lock my opponent under a Trinisphere. They have to have a workshop backup plan here. It's really hard to let this go, but I think I'm supposed to. I mean, they wouldn't cast this Trinisphere unless they had a workshop, right? Like, you can't make this play unless you have a workshop. I asked my opponent. I think I'm going to pitch this Sink into Stupor, actually. No, I'm going to pitch this stock up and play a ring. All right, I'm going to force this and pitch a stock up. I don't know if it's correct, to be fair, but... I think I'm going to play this Monolith because it adds mana off Academy. And then draw with this on the stack in case I draw Ancestral. I actually think I'm supposed to... I might just play Academy and hold this as a bounce spell for a Null Rod. If they have like a Null Rod and a Wasteland, so be it. Yeah, maybe. I think I'm just supposed to play everything out. Because it's bad if my opponent has a Wasteland and a Null Rod. But if they have a Null Rod, then it's good. If they have just a Wasteland, it's bad. There's the Workshop. You can't really cast this 3-ball without a Workshop, which is kind of why I countered the Trinisphere. Scrawly Crawler. It's good against the One Ring. Might bounce it just to save life, but I can probably get away with taking some amount of damage here. I'm going to take some damage before I bounce this thing. Yeah, I'm going to take some damage before I bounce this thing. Crawly Crawler is pretty annoying versus the ring, but it's not the end-all be-all. Karn. So how much mana do I have? I have 4, 7, 8, 9. So I can't play a Lattice Lock here, but I could bounce the Scrawling Crawler. I could get a Disruptor Flute. I could get a Needle. Do I want to draw an extra card off of this Crawler? I kind of want them not to draw a card. So I think I'm going to just play this for tempo. I don't know if I'm going to play. I'll play one of these Sink into Stupors. I'm going to get a needle and I'm going to name Wasteland. Obviously, they have a Ghost Quarter in their yard, but I'm going to play one of these. If I need to bounce a crawler again, then we can just do that. Sure. Saga. Sure. 1/1 Stone Coil Serpent. Sure. All right. Those actually stop me from lattice locking my opponent, which is kind of funny. I'll take the 1 damage to draw the first card so that I don't waste my mana. All right. So I can play a Wormcoil Engine as well. I'm actually a black mana away from playing a Sphinx. I'm gonna bounce this and draw with my ring. A new ring and a stock up. Wonder if I was supposed to not get a needle so that I could make sure my card doesn't die from an attack when I went for a lattice lock. This is 7 mana. Let's cast stock up first and see where we go. I have a Repurposing Bay and a Sensei's Top. So I can repurpose this ring into a Golos or a Saga. I could repurpose. I mean, I can repurpose a 0 drop into a key and draw 4 more cards. Oh, but I don't have enough mana to do that. I guess I do, because I have a Soul Ring, right? Soul Ring ends at +1 mana. So I could theoretically repurpose the thing and then draw 4 more cards. But I feel like I want to... Maybe I should just get a Wormcoil and play a Wormcoil. That does get rid of my... I mean, I'm probably going to win on the following turn. How does my opponent's deck really beat a Wormcoil, though? Is getting a Golos better, though? There's like plus my Karn, get a Golos. Might just be better. Because my Repurposing Bay should really win the game on the turn after. Or even Lattice Lock should win the game on the turn after. Like, I'd love to Lattice Lock right now, but I just can't. Also, like, do I want to keep this ring? What if I get... I guess if I get Null Rotted, it's not actually that bad. Maybe I'll get a strip. Oh, I don't have a strip mine. I was like, maybe I'll get a strip mine. I didn't actually put a strip mine in my deck. I should probably have a strip mine in my deck. All right, I'm going to do that. This gives me a blocker, lets me set up a lattice on the next turn. Just going to turn off Doom for now. All right, double workshop. Okay. Again, we have pretty large constructs coming. They can't make constructs. We have the ability to turn anything into mostly anything. I don't think I lose to a crawler at this point. So, take 1. Maybe I should just get a worm coil anyways. I mean, I'd like to just infinite combo here. Is there any possibility I can do that? If I turn... I kind of wish I had like an artifact that like untaps. Obviously I have a key, but if I use the key, then I can't combo with the key. I really wonder if there's like a way to go infinite from here that I'm just like missing, but I can't really think of one. Yeah, I didn't really want to play like bad cards. I know that quarter monitor is an option, but I just didn't really want to play it. So if I were to lattice lock my opponent, I just need to make sure I have 3 blockers, and then I need to make sure I don't die to Crawler. Then they could always like find a needle or something off of this. Maybe I'm just like supposed to make... I can get infinite turns next turn, so let's just make blockers and just win on the next turn here. So what I'll do is I will minus my Karn and get a Worm Coil Engine. And then I'll just make a construct. And I'll make a Worm Coil Engine. And I'll make a ring. I'll hold up negation. And then I'll get a key. I'll get a key off this, and then I'll change it or something. I don't know. This seems fine. I'm not saying that this is definitely the best choice. I'm just saying this is a choice. And it seems good enough to me. If I need to, I can Repurposing Bay a monolith into a Repurposing Bay, a Repurposing Bay into a Metamorph and get another Worm Coil or something like that. I don't know. I think just winning with creatures is fine here. Yeah, getting a Soul Ring. I have a Karn. Don't think there's anything that's like even I guess like a Null Rod and a Ghost Quarter, like a Crucible is a little annoying. I don't think anything matters though. If I wasn't like pressured on my life total, then I could have turned this Golos into a Citadel and cast a bunch of spells off Citadel, but I don't think anything is going to really stop me from this point. And obviously they're incredibly outsized on creatures because we resolved a Karn. If I need to, I can draw off this ring as well, though I have to just make sure I don't die to random drawing. But I do have a big life linking worm, so should be fine. Yeah, I don't want my opponent to Ghost Quarter my Tolarian Academy, so I am going to hardcast a negation on this. And if they have like another one, then I can maybe draw for a blue card and go for another negation, but... I guess like no, technically a Null Rod is more worrying than a Crucible, but all right. So I'm gonna make a construct, and I'm gonna take 2 damage, and then I'm gonna copy. I mean, it doesn't matter. Everything I do wins. So I make a construct. I get Volt Key. I can also make things unblockable. Yeah. Okay. Because I can gain life, so I'm not losing 2 life every turn on my infinite turns, and even then, like, I can attack, and then on the next turn make this 14/14s unblockable. Nothing really matters. Okay, so we go to game 2. We're playing against a workshop deck that's gonna have up to 3 null rods, looks like. In general, I think on the draw, I'm gonna take out this Citadel. I do like Worm Coil instead. I think a Needle on Wasteland is like okay, but I don't really feel like it's that good. I do like Tinker for Sphinx instead. I like Horkel's Recall. I like Steel Sabotage, and I like Mindbreak Trap. Don't know if I need Dismember, but I might want Dismember. I probably still need Negations. Mystical Chain. Man, there's a lot of cards in here that are not bad. I don't know how I'm gonna board this many cards if I want this many cards here. It's probably gonna have to be some amount of like stock ups and rings, maybe. Yeah, you don't need a Hull Breacher for this matchup, definitely not. I mean, I don't even think rings are like that bad, but I actually don't think you need this Karn either. Just looking at their cards in their deck. Maybe we'll trim a repurposing. I just feel like trimming some of like the higher end stuff is probably where you want to be. Don't know if that's exactly what it is, but it seems reasonable. Reasonable approach. Those are good cards, but will I be able to cast any spells? Think I am kind of priced into keeping this hand, but it's certainly a hand that's going to randomly lose to a bunch of cards out of Workshop for sure. Yeah. Gonna have to draw other lands in this game. Or Moxen. Uh-oh. I don't know. It's really hard to put this hand back, but maybe I just should have. It's not like... I'm like looking at their list. They can't really mold a sphere here, but they are obviously trying to get sphere. 3 mana card. Metamorph has another ring. All right, well, we might not be able to play any cards this game. Gonna have to just draw lots of lands. Maybe I'm supposed to play the Academy first. Don't say things like that. It's how they end up with some kind of Crucible loop on us. 2 mana spell. Mana Crypt. Oh, Saga. I think we're dead. Don't think we're beating that. Yeah, this is why shops used to reign supreme. Just have access to as many spheres as you can. Don't let your opponent ever cast a spell. You'll need to draw another land here, or a Mox. That is a land. Yeah. I think I need to take 1,000,000,000 damage here so I can Hercules Recall. So I'm going to do that and pass for an Ancestral, and then take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's a way forward. So I do need to hit another land that lets me cast Hercules, so... Oh, come on! No. I think that means we lose. I guess I can draw an Ancient Tomb still. No Ancient Tomb. Brutal. I think I'm just dead to this. Does an Ancient Tomb let me play? Not really. All right, so if I play a Ruby, play an Academy, play an Emerald, take 3, 6, and die. Yeah, I mean, I didn't keep a hand with Force. This is something that can definitely happen. Sadly, I do think we were pretty close to drawing out of this lock, but we just didn't get there. Back on the play, I think I like having my rings a little bit more. Take these dismembers out and just be like a little bit more aggressive with my cards. But yeah, I mean, that's workshops, right? You win the die roll, you make your opponent never be able to play a spell with spheres and wastelands. We were so close to drawing out of that. We really were. Maybe this Mindbreak Trap on the drop flaw here is less good too. I just don't think Bringing a Needle is good. Like, they have 3 different wasteland effects, and that's kind of the only thing you can really hit, and I just don't think it's that good. It's not like their deck is built around activated abilities. Like, obviously, Wasteland is the 4 of, but they haven't actually Wastelanded us in any of these games. Uh-oh. Well, I don't feel like I'm supposed to mulligan this hand, but it certainly has issues. I think I would rather play this tap land now than, like, insulating. Like, if this gets wastelanded, I think it's better for me than if my Ancient Tomb gets wastelanded, because I'm trying to make up my way up to this Golos here. But obviously, losing my Hurkyl's Recall to negation is, like, less than ideal, but... my opponent has a lot more fast mana than we do. Another Saga draw. Now I don't really want to lose my Hurkyl's, though, so now I might be punished for playing this Sulfur Springs. Sulfuric. So porific. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little punished for playing that tap land here. I could have just played Island. Yeah, I'm definitely not touching that. Yeah, I'm gonna let this happen. I'm in a bad spot if they have a wasteland. All right, now I think I'm actually supposed to just play out this Grim Monolith and expand our mana for the next turn here. Oh, shops, man. I haven't really had to play against Sphere shops in a very long time, as it's been kind of pushed out of the meta, but it can be pretty not fun as a blue deck, even if we're a big mana blue deck. That typically has a decent matchup. At one point in Vintage, you had to have 4 Hurkyl's Recalls in your deck to have a favorable matchup against shops. Maybe I should have mulliganed my opening hand. It's hard to, like, it's a hard balance of, you want to on the play, you want to mulligan to something really broken, right? But you also want to make sure you have mana to, like, cast your spells in the event something goes wrong. If you mulligan too deep, then you might not have enough mana to play your spells. So this hand has, like, very good at playing through mana things, but... yeah, it's just not fun. I definitely don't see any reason to bring that back. I think Thorn is reasonable. Oh, wow, they have no follow-up land. That's very good for us. That's very, very good for us. So what is our best play then? Because unfortunately, this Golos costs 6. I could just play a 1-ring and still hold up Hurkyl's Recall. Actually, I'll probably go to my end step and Hurkyl's Recall. Because they won't be able to make the other Saga token anyways. It's probably not as good. It saves 2 life, but it's probably not as good. So I'm going to play a 1-ring. I think this makes the most sense. Ah, man, it's really kind of gross, though. But I do want my opponent to make 2 construct tokens, so... Alright, I did a lot of damage to myself again. I'm going to continue to do more damage to myself, which is kind of one of the problems of this deck. All right, see what happens. I don't want to Hurkyl's Recall till the end of turn, because I don't want them to use like mana to replay things. But if they play a Sphere, then they play a Sphere. I want them to use 2 mana here, play another Saga token, get a mana source or whatever. Maybe they get a Needle or what. That's fine. And then end step just Hurkyl's them into oblivion. It's not like I take damage from the attack here, so. I do wish I had played an island instead of this Springs. Bobble, interesting. They drew Tolarian Academy? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That could be really bad for me. I swear to God, my opponents always have Tolarian Academy. How do they do it? That might just throw a whole wrench in this plan. Oh, no. Oh, no. Scrawler is fine. God, Academy here is wild. Wildly bad for me. Yeah, see, now I can't go for Hurkyl's right now, or they get a bunch of free mana and recast everything. So I have to wait for my turn for 4 mana. Is that better? I mean, I guess I have to. Ah, it's so frustrating, man. It's always Tolarian. They didn't have a land last turn. They ripped it off the top. Yeah. I'm taking too much damage. I guess I'm supposed to upkeep this. I lose a bunch of mana, but I save a life. No, I need that mana. I think I'm just lost. I think Tolarian Academy lost me the game. Well, actually, Second Sphere lost me the game. Because I wanted to be able to Hurkyl's at end of step. Tolarian Academy, Sphere there. Okay, I think I'll take the 1. Do another sync. I don't know. This just looks losing, unfortunately. I don't really know what I can even draw from here. Time Walk is probably my best draw, but I'm like losing mana really, really fast. The fact that I couldn't end step Hurkyl's to tap this turn with all the mana, like I needed to get the Golos in play to get my own Tolarian Academy. It's just awful. Oh, wow, I've drawn horribly. This is not good. This is not good at all. I don't know. What can I even do here? I can hit the Mana Crypt at least with a negation. They drew a land, so they can play Bobble if they want. Oh, I guess they can't play Bobble because then they can't play the Mana Crypt. They have a Ruby? Did they have a Ruby before? Just like kind of need to restrict their mana here, so. I don't. Oh, yeah, they did have a Ruby before. I think they should have cracked the Bobble and just drawn an extra card. So they have 3 mana. 3 mana. What are they going to do? Play a Crawler? It's not that bad for me. I'm going to go to 5, and I'm going to go to 4, and I can't really use my Ancient Tombs. But I do have a sync for this. Sinking in the upkeep here to save a life is worse, because I'd have to either use the Grim Monolith or use an Ancient Tomb. So I go to 4, I can use 1 Ancient Tomb. I guess. These cards just don't do anything. So unfortunately, I'm at a life total now where even if I go Golos this turn, I can't really survive. So I have to just like stock up into something crazy, like Lotus Tinker or something. No, I can't play a Lotus because there's a Vexing Bobble. I think I lost this game, which is just so crazy to me. But I do think I lost this game. Man, I would definitely redo some of my mulligan choices, but... Alright, well, I'm going to play a Grim Monolith. And I'm going to use it and an island and stock up. We're not tapping the tombs. We're going to try to win the game. There's the Tinker. I can't cast the Tinker because they found Vexing Bobble. They were on another level. They just saw 3 turns ahead that Vexing Bobble would be good here. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I certainly regret playing the Springs instead of an island, but... I mean, there's a reason why I did that, so I could save life later in the game. But, I mean, like, we talked about it immediately after I did it, so... I'm just gonna die to the stupid crawler. This is so frustrating. Because I actually think we just straight up are winning, right? If I can play a Sapphire from here. But I can't play a Sapphire from here. Can't force the Vexing Bobble! I can't force the crawler. I can't play a Sapphire. I can't do anything from this spot. It's so crazy. So crazy. If there was no Bobble, I actually could play a Sapphire, tinker this into a Sphinx, and then force a thing or anything. I'm very winning. But I don't have it. I don't have it. I mean, I had a lot of choices in this game that I could have done differently, so... None of these cards do anything. I'm dead. I don't know. The fact that they hit the Tolarian Academy is the real kicker here. Because if they didn't hit the Tolarian Academy, I get to end of turn or Hercules Recall. And I'm just incredibly winning. But the Academy was just too much. It's always the Academy. It always gets me. Maybe they cracked the bauble. Maybe they... I mean, cracking the bauble, I still lose, so... Yeah, I mean, they can't mess this up. I don't think there's any way they can mess this up. Losing this matchup is really bad because this should be one of our better ones, I would think. We have so much mana, but we just drew all mana in this game. Like, if we were drawing Tinkers and Ancestrals off of our ring activations, then this game's a lot different, right? But we drew 7, 8 mana sources in a row. Which isn't nothing. Like, it did help, but it was unfortunately bad against what my opponent was doing. It's actually funny because if they had a sphere in play, turning off the bauble, then I actually could use the tomb, go to 2 life to play the Sapphire. And then I could have, I guess I wouldn't have enough mana. But there's like a lot of lines there that like lets you play the Sapphire, lets you play the Tinker. Man, I'm sad. I'm so sad. You got to take the free win matchups when you get them, and we did not take it. Which is not a good sign for our deck, to be fair. But again, I could have changed my mulligan choices a lot in this game. I definitely didn't have to keep this like non-powerful opening hand. I just chose to because it was really good at playing through like wastelands and stuff. And my opponent just didn't play any wastelands. They just instantly put Saga pressure on us. I mean, there's just no way they don't play Crawler, right? Like, there's just no chance in hell they would never play. Like, they've been playing Crawler as their only play last turn. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, man. maybe I just had to Hercules on my end step so I saved 2 life. Feels bad. I'm like pretty upset about that round. It's got to be my fault too. Let's go look. All right, what is it? What is it? What is it? Let's see what I did wrong here, because this just feels like matches where I lost because I'm just haven't played against it in a while. All right, so this has to be a mulligan. I definitely got baited by this hand. If they simply have one of the 5 spheres, I lose. Unless I draw lands, which I mean, the thing is, if I draw lands or Moxen, this hand does get out of those situations, and it has a lot of power, but maybe it's just, I think maybe it's just a mulligan. I haven't played against spheres in a while, and maybe I got complacent here. What do we need to draw? I mean, if we draw an Ancient Tomb at any point, we get out of this as well. Like, if we draw an Ancient Tomb at any point, we're fine. Yeah, this is... Like, I see how we lose this game, but I do think we could have had chances to win that game. And then there's this hand. Like, this is a good hand against a large swath of what Sphere Shops is doing. But it just, like, lined up very poorly into what my opponent had in this hand. And I definitely think I should have just played the island instead. I wanted to, like, play the Synchronous because we had life total problems, but... Definitely don't let that resolve. Definitely play this. This is awful. Like, they don't have a land here, which means they drew the Academy, which is really bad for me. So maybe the problem here is I played the One Ring. I mean, I would have taken 1,000,000 damage if I didn't play the One Ring. But maybe we just, like, are supposed to play Golos here and get an Academy. It's not even that good. I don't have that many artifacts in play. Well, I can't play Golos here because I wanted to play Hercules Recall. So, like, what happens if I Hercules Recall at end of turn instead to save 2 life here? If I go for end of turn Hercules Recall instead, then... let's see. My opponent untaps with no Saga Constructs, but then they make 1 mana plus probably Soul Ring, 2 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana, and then they still draw Academy. And so they basically have infinite mana to play their entire hand out, which leaves me pretty much in the same spot as before, except I don't have my Hercules Recall. So this is just, like, terrible. Oh, I strongly disagree, Magic. I think, like, many hands, I just counter your first... Like, one, I need a counter because you have no rods in your deck. But 2, like, if you just, like, counter a first sphere, untap and combo kill your opponent, like, that's more than half the games. I think, like, I would play 8 forces if I had 8 forces. You just need to have sufficient power to back it up to go afterwards. So then I went for this. I mean, I just drew all mana after, right? I went for negation on this, but I kind of have to because of Bobble. Yeah. Like, I still think there's lots of chances to win from here. I just drew, like, basically the worst possibles instead of drawing, like... So, like, what this stock up hits Ancestral Tinker. And if I just hit these cards in the opposite order, then it's just an easy win. Yeah. I mean, this is definitely not a very good set of ring draws. That is true. But I could have changed the way I played this game out, for sure. What happens if I play this game out with keeping the springs? So if I had played Island instead of Springs, and then I had just countered the first sphere... Counting the first sphere is, like, kind of bad, because I just don't have a follow-up. But maybe I could just counter the first sphere. I don't even know if that's that good for me. Yeah, I'm aware you're my opponent. You can have your opinion on the matchup. I'm telling you, if I had 8 forces, I would play 8 forces. And I'm it's just a matter of, like, can I win the game after I force a card that matters? And the answer this time was no. I think the answer on average is going to be yes. So... I think this matchup is like extremely favored. But this is like a little bit more clunky of a deck, so I can see where it would go wrong. I think you're completely like, I have to counter Null Rod. No. Like, I understand why. Like, I understand why you are thinking the way you're thinking. I don't think your opinion is not rooted in gameplay. Like, I understand that 2-for-1ing yourself puts you extremely far behind against workshops, especially when they have a draw that's very cohesive. That all makes sense. The thing that changes the equation is, what do I do after I 2-for-1 myself? And if the answer is take infinite turns, tinker a Sphinx of the Steel Wind, draw 20 cards, then 2-for-1ing yourself is fine. If the answer is I don't do anything with my follow-up turn, then yes, 2-for-1ing myself is bad. For example, in this exact instance right here, countering a sphere 2-for-1 is quite bad because I'm not doing anything afterwards. But if like I have Tinker, if I have One Ring, if I have, you know, any combination of powerful cards, then negating is fine. And then of course, like add on the extra layer of my deck really needs to make sure you don't ever resolve a Null Rod. And your deck should have 4 Null Rods in it. If your deck doesn't have 4 Null Rods in it, that's great for me because that's just a deck building error. But like, Null Rod is probably the biggest weakness I have, and so I need to have 8 forces to counter Null Rod for sure. And that's just my opinion. Like, obviously, like, it's a little hard to gauge because this deck is, I made this deck last night, 5 minutes before the challenge, and it is technically a brand new deck. But, you know, I have played big blue artifact Tinker style decks versus Golos in the past, and the heuristic should still apply. That being said, Scrawling Trawler certainly changes the heuristics a little bit. The One Ring changes the heuristics a little bit. So there are a lot of new nuances for the matchup, but this is just kind of an instance of the wrong cards. Like, when you Hurkyl's Recall your opponent's entire board away, you need to be able to follow it up with a relevant play, or your Hurkyl's Recall doesn't actually do enough. And here we Hurkyl's Recall, and we're not able to put together any cohesive follow-up play. That was like the big problem in this game. Whether that's deck construction on my part error, could be, or just bad variance, could be both. So, but I mean, like, I'm looking over the replay to find out where I can make changes to my play to give me a higher percentage chance of playing the game. It's like a little unfortunate because I think heuristically this 7-card hand lines up very well against Null Rod. It lines up very well against Wasteland. It lines up very well against Sphere Resistance. It lines up against very well against a lot of the things that my opponent's deck typically does. And it doesn't line very well against Urza's Saga, Mana Crypt, Mox, Sphere. But even then, we are playing through this okay because we have this Hurkyl's Recall. And I think the biggest turning point in this game is exactly this turn where my opponent finds Tolarian Academy. Because if my opponent doesn't have Tolarian Academy here, it means they can't play double Sphere. Though I guess they could have technically have like chosen Bauble to be a Soul Ring and then played double Sphere. But the second Sphere here means I can't Academy at end step, which means I untap with way less mana than I want to. Yeah, good luck next round for you as well. It just means I untap with a lot less mana than I want to. And then, so like, that's why I'm trying to reevaluate, like, well, maybe if I had cast Hurkyl's Recall on my turn, it ends up better for me. But when you look at this spot and look at what my opponent has, it doesn't. So like, I have to take the risk that my opponent doesn't have a second Sphere. And to be fair, it's very unlikely for them to have a second Sphere. They only have 4 more spheres in their deck. So 4 out of, 50 possible cards. It's unlikely that they have a second Sphere, but if they do have a second Sphere, this play ends up being very bad for me, and which it does, because it means I have to untap, and then I have to Hurkyl's using all of my mana on this turn, which means I have very much a limited set of draws here that get me out of this game, and you can see what happens is I just don't draw cards that get me out of the game, which is like big problem. So I think the two major mistakes here are, one, this keep on the draw for 7 cards is bad. I would cut this. I would mulligan this hand. I got a little bit baited by power. And then I still don't know if this 7 is a mulligan, but I do think I'd probably play Island instead of Springs here to give myself a little bit more flexibility. I know why I played Springs, because like damage is a huge problem here, but the big thing is that Scrawling Crawler really changes how much damage I'm allowed to take. So see you in round 2. But I think that's like part of having nuanced conversation about Magic. Saying like 2-for-1 counters are bad or a simple loss is not really good, useful. Saying 2-for-1 counters with no sufficient follow-up is a simple loss is a better statement. Still probably not the best statement, but opponent is playing Lurrus Control. I lost to them in round 6 of last night's challenge. This hand builds out mana pretty well, but doesn't have a lot of payoffs. I still think you have to keep most 7-card hands against Lurrus because you just need as many cards as possible. One of the biggest problems is your opponent just simply sits there and spell pierces all your stuff and forces all your stuff, and you lose. It's very hard to mulligan because like, if you're mulliganing to a fast combo against Lurrus, all you're really doing is checking to see if they have the counter magic in their hand, which they typically do. They play tons of counter magic, and so then you expend all your resources on your fast combo and then lose right after. So what you really need to do is keep a hand that has a lot of action. This hand does not really have a lot of action, unfortunately. But you need the sheer amount of cards to get through. So not a good looking hand, I must say. But we'll do what we can. Stock Up has not been particularly good in this deck so far. But it might just be a awkward set of draws. Like if I can go Ancient Tomb, Island, Stock Up. Jesus Christ. Okay, sure. I will force this. Then it's like pretty nice. Why is my opponent leading on turn 1 Lavinia with counterspell backup? That's what I want to know. What did I do wrong is what I want to know. It might just be one of those days. They happen. Frog. Yeah. Things are bad for me. I'm gonna have to draw a land. My opponent's gonna have to not draw a wasteland. Things are gonna have to get real good for me real quick. I can't complain? Oh, I don't know about that one. I can always complain. I'm the content creator. I don't know. It might just be an O2 day happens. There was a reason I didn't really want to stream this deck again after going 3-3 off stream. Going 3-3 off stream is a bad sign. I don't go 3-3 off stream with most viable decks. I think I went 4-2, 4-2 with black-white cats. All right, maybe hardcast negation is alive for my opponent here. Let's see. I'm gonna play a Sensei's Top. I'm gonna play a Monolith. I'm gonna play a Repurposing Bay. If this resolves, we have good chances actually, because it means we can win in a couple turns. Though we don't have any zeros to turn into ones. I don't have any flusters in my mains. They did have hardcast negation. I guess I should still just spin anyways. The one ring sink into stupor. Now those are pretty good magic cards if I don't get wastelanded. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. Okay. This could be worse. If I get wastelanded, it's worse. There are just so many counter spells in my opponent's deck. It's really hard to play this kind of deck versus it. No, opponent. I guess I can't even play the ring with the Lavinia in play. Until I actually had to do this the other way around, huh? Oh, I'm just dead. I guess I can bounce the Lavinia, and then I can't play the ring. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 1 mana short. No, I can't bounce the Lavinia because I can't play the spell because I need to have 3 lands in play. All right, great. No, all right, fine. I've been bested. Turn 1 Lavinia. Yeah, that does make sense. It's just, it's a bad time. It's a bad time. All right, I'm going to bring in these Hole Breachers. I'm going to bring in Flusterstorms and Dismembers. And then I'm going to take out all of my forces and my Mystical Tutor. I don't know if that's actually correct. Kind of feels like it's not correct. I want to push through a spell on turn 1, but... The Karn is, like, pretty bad. It's... Yeah. Eh. Eh. I just don't like these other cards either. I don't know. Looking bad for us. I don't know. I'm kind of still sad about that Sphere Shops matchup, but how much I can do. Sometimes magic happens. Sometimes Tolarian Academy happens. All right. I don't particularly like this deck's Lurrus matchup, sadly. I find that 3 Spell Pierce is a really huge problem, and again, my deck just loses to Wasteland, like most decks I make. It feels like I should have enough threats, but they just seem to always have more counter spells than I have threats, sadly. So I don't know. Like I wish I could just have games where I start like casting a bunch of stock ups. That's what I would like to see here. But I just haven't really had opportunities to do that. I don't know if it's like I don't know, there's 4 stock ups in my deck, but we just really haven't had any games where we're allowed to sit there and stock up. So currently my deck is mono blue. Yeah, all right, we'll just give it a shot. We're on the play here. See if we can't put together some mana, start casting some powerful spells. That's the plan. I don't know. Rough to face the Lurrus player down here in the 0-1 bracket, but it's only a 53% win rate deck, so. All right. Yes. All right. Complain and become rewarded. Complete. All right. Ancient Tomb. Mana Vault. Mental misstep. Key. They always have it, chat. No, they have Wasteland Mox. Wrong. Game, please. I just. What if I? What the? Not me. This is every time. Every time. Well, maybe they don't have another counter spell. They don't have days, so. Oh, all right. Just gotta dodge the null rod. Dodge the null rod, baby. It's fine. I got this. No problem. No null rod, no problem. That's what you get for mental misstepping my mana vault. Evil. This draw is sick, by the way. Like, even if they lose, obviously, like, it's crazy. But like, if I could keep this draw every game as the the Lurrus player, oh my god, I would. It's a beautiful one. I guess the only thing worse would have been a blue-white Lavinia, huh? Oh man. Wasteland is so good against us. It's crazy. It's wild how good Wasteland is against us. I'm not really a big fan of the enchantment removal things in blue. I'd rather just have one colorless mana dismember. Obviously, it's bad against Lavinia, but it's a lot better against mono white initiative and mostly mono white initiative. But oh, this hand has no manas. Okay, this hand has some manas. Down. I think this is a chain game, but it does let me like bounce on turn 1 against a frog, so I'll probably keep it. And I think this breacher is just bad. I'd rather cast stock up, right? Yo, what up, John? No Moxen, no Moxen. Ah, we're safe. We live another day. God bless. Vexing Bauble. Now that's an interesting magic card here. Yeah, let's see what they say about Vexing Bauble. Probably Spell Pierce it. Technically a tinker target as well. Or tinker, what do you call a tinker fodder? Technically tinker fodder. I don't think I ever want to register the card rapid hybridization. Rapid hybridization. 3/3s are a problem. That's a lot of damage. They're debating. They don't know. Ah, all right. I think they have a Spell Pierce, and that means my next spell is getting Spell Pierced, but... But it does mean that if my opponent plays like a frog or something, I can resolve a spell. Though I guess if my opponent plays a Lavinia, I'm not casting shit. No, no, don't do it. All right, this looks like they're gonna have a Spell Pierce. So throw a stock up in there. Try to get rid of some of the Spell Pierces, and then if I can hit... Oh, this just resolves. I see. I was not expecting this to resolve, so now I have to make some choices here. Kind of want to take Time Walk Ancient Tomb and get to a point where I can do a Tinker through a Spell Pierce. Seems like that makes the most sense to me. Try to get a Vault Key through a Spell Pierce here. This could be tough. It's a Bowman. Makes sense. Watch me get Twister comboed here. I'm ready. No, did not get Twister comboed. Now they have Hardcast Negation, though. All right. I have Vault Key. All right, I'm gonna go Time Walk Key. And I'm gonna try to figure out some way to bait a negation on the next turn here. Don't want to run this Time Vault in here. I will see if I can... I don't know. I have no idea how I'm going to bait it. Technically, I'm beating Spell Pierce, but I'm not beating Negation, and I feel like it's Negation. Flusterstorm would be good. Mox. So if I crack the bauble, or if I just tinker off the bauble, then they have negation and like multiple things. I don't know. I don't have a lot of time here. But I might have enough time. I'm like a little worried about a lot of things. Hope I have enough time to do this. Ancestral Recall. Hull Breacher Island. None of these are counter spells. I didn't keep a lot of forces in my deck. I think I have 1 force and 2 Flusterstorms or something. I mean, if we just take the lands, we can bait with Tinker next turn, so I feel like that's the play. No, I'm just trying to like make a turn where I Ancestral Recall themselves. That's pretty good. I think my next turn is the last turn, so I don't really feel like that does anything, but maybe it's bait. I don't know. Chaining the Bowmaster. I mean, it baits them into recasting it or something, takes away their mana or something. If this is a frog, I'd bounce the frog. But that also means they don't have force. It means they only have Spell Pierce, which we easily beat Spell Pierce, so. Looks like they're going to hold up. I think they have a very clear negation here. I'm not sacking the... yeah, I guess I'd have to sack the bauble. I mean, I have to bait out counter spells. I can't throw my Time Vault into a clear negation. Why? Well, what is my Tinker doing for me? What am I doing? Getting a Citadel at 9 life? Like, Time Vault is the way my deck is winning. It's not like I can bring in Sphinx against the deck that can have swords, you know? Maybe I'll draw a Grim Monolith that I can tinker. Like, there's lots of things that can happen here. I could always, like, draw cards, or I could play the Pearl after. You know, there's lots of ways we can do this. Another stock up. Do I have enough time? I think so. The One Ring. I don't have enough mana to bait with this One Ring. I keep drawing all the Ancient Dooms. How many more? If they have a Bowmaster end of turn, I go to 6, and then I take 4. It's like really bad, isn't it? Just like can't figure out a way to get this Time Vault through, because I mean, I have, what, 2 Flusters? It's not a lot. Maybe I just cast 1 more stock up. Go to 5. It's, like, really bad. I think at some point I'm gonna have to, like, crack this bauble. I just took too much damage again. I guess I do have a chain still. Like, I didn't draw any of my 1-mana artifacts that I can use them with my key. I didn't draw any Grim Monoliths that I can use with my key and then sacrifice. Like, this is... How many cards deep did I go? 12 cards deep with stock up? No, I had 3 stock ups this game, right? I've gone really deep and have not seen any of the cards I'm really looking for here. Academy, Grim Monolith, those kind of... Flusterstorm, obviously. I don't know. I feel like I'm running really cold, but I also just... Could be the whole deck is cold. I don't know. Don't see a clear path here. They have another Bowmaster is like the thing I'm the most worried about. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to end up cracking this bauble. I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait 1 more turn here and see what happens. I didn't have a Bowmaster. Put me to 5. I will go for the chain this time on the Bowmaster. Just because I'm gonna not have the blue mana anyways. If they want to bounce my bauble, that would be fine. This also gives them 9 cards at end of turn. It's pretty funny. They could sack a land and bounce my bauble. I think I'd love that. I think that would make me so happy. No? I'm gonna replay it? No. Alright, so they definitely have a negation. They definitely have a negation. Can't really crack the bauble, though, to bait the Bowmaster either. I guess I can... I just don't have anything to tinker off of either. I need, like, a Grim Monolith. Thank you! Alright, so I go to 3, I play a Grim Monolith, and I tinker off of it, and then I try to win with a Vault. Though, if they have a Bowmaster, they have to tap for the thing. Oh, boy. Can I afford to tap an Ancient Tomb for a Grim Monolith? What if I just tinker off the Vexing Bauble? Does that help me? Not really. Alright. I go to 3 and play Grim Monolith. I'd use my Grim Monolith and I cast Tinker off my Grim Monolith. Do you have Hardcast Negation? What do you have? Hardcast Negation. Alright, so I can no longer get Bowmastered right now. If I play a Time Vault and they have a Spell Pierce, I still win. So I think we're good. Because they're tapped out of Bowmaster. No, I don't win. I'm 1 mana short. Oh, wait. I can't crack. Oh, no. I'm going to get second forced. Ah! I have 1. I needed less. No, I don't have enough. Oh, I have consigned to memory. Well, I mean, then I'm fucked. Okay, I will crack this Vexing Bauble. I don't think I was ever beating a consigned to memory. Oh, it's too funny. I needed to draw the Flusterstorm, it looks like, is the big thing I needed to draw from this spot. I assume this just gets enforced at this point. Sure. I've invested. I don't know. Just really hard to win with the cards we drew. I don't know. I feel like casting 3 stock ups I should never lose, but I somehow managed to lose. Like, they had to, like, they couldn't really make plays. They had to hold up negation the whole time. I just kind of needed better mana than Ancient Tomb. Like, if I had resolved a Grim Monolith earlier in this game, right? I have Grim Monolith Key to play all my spells. I can play One Rings. I feel like this is a really awful set of cards to draw. Because if I hit any Grim Monolith at any of those 15 cards, I'm fine. This is kind of part of the problem I had yesterday as well, is you just take too much damage from Ancient Tomb, and there are people attacking you in this format. There's a lot of creatures going on. That's a brutal one. All right. We're looking back at the stock ups and trying to find things to do differently. This first one, I think you just have to take the land because of the time walk, because of the wasteland. So taking land time walk makes sense. I don't think taking Repurposing Bay is better than taking time walk. Just because we don't have a way to build out artifacts anyways. It's not like we can play 0 drops. So that seems fine to me. And then I still like time walking here and playing key. It's a good use of mana. But this one, this stock up, maybe we could have waited a different line. I took both lands to try to build out to a point where I could play a Tinker and a Time Vault. But the problem was I never hit a Grim Monolith to play my Tinker. And I can't Tinker Bauble, and really, because it just opens up too many 0 mana counter spells. And I can't really Tinker Key because I need the key to win. So another choice we could have made here was we have our land drops still, I believe. So we could have gone Island Hullbreacher, and that way I can flash in a Hullbreacher on their turn, and if they want to do something about it, they have to tap mana. This is probably the mistake that I made in this game. I'm not saying that this changes the game, but this is a place where I could have made a different choice. And at least like also stops the thing that's attacking my life total that's not my Ancient Tomb. So this kind of seems like the spot where maybe there was a mistake. Someone in chat did say Island Hullbreacher. I just didn't think that was a better use of my mana, but oh my god, they would have played Ancestral Recall. Well, yeah, okay, well, it would have been very good here, I must say. If I had a freaking Hullbreacher here, that's crazy. I would have gotten 0 mana cards that I can sack, or that make blue mana and can be sacked off Tinker. Oh my god. I actually think we just straight up win this game on the spot unless they have like a swords or something. That's kind of wild, actually. I mean, I'm not ever really playing around Ancestral, obviously, but if I went to play this play for the Hullbreacher to block, it would have worked out really well because my opponent went for end step Ancestral, and they kind of have to go for end step Ancestral because they're holding up negation, right? Yeah, wow. I mean, this would have been quite a play. I probably win this game because then they don't draw 3 cards as well. Oh man. I mean, blue artifacts does work. Jewel is one of the better decks in the format. It's just Jewel doesn't really capture what I'm trying to do in Magic. Too much variance inherent in the deck. I mean, these stock ups were just abysmal. Like, it wasn't really stock up's fault. It went 5 cards deep, and I cast 3 of them. But I just was not like I was not demonic tutoring for the cards like the Twitter posts say. This like is an actual blank right here. Just 5 cards, all blanks. I think by this point, it's too far gone. But that being said, I can see a reasonable argument here that you don't need this Ancient Tomb anyways, so the Hullbreacher at least does something to stop the actual clock. So this seems like the most obvious point where I probably made a mistake, and that if I had changed this play, I think we would have won. So, yo, what's up? Ladislav? Hope I play that right. Thanks for watching the content. I appreciate it. Thanks for playing Vintage. I also appreciate that, because if people don't play Vintage, I don't get to make content. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that the point, like, obviously there's a bunch of bad luck in this game, but I think that the one choice that I did have that I didn't choose that would have changed the course of this game is this whole Breacher Island play here. So, good to think about. Good to think about for sure. All right, here we go. This is the fun bracket, the O2 bracket. Let's see if we can make a comeback here. Maybe learn some lessons along the way. The last time I saw an opponent have a deck published was 20 days ago, and they had quite the interesting one here. Tezzeret the Seeker. So this is a nice Tezzerator deck. It's actually, I was talking with chat, it's very similar. It's very similar to our deck, actually. It's very much in the same vein. I used to call these decks big blue decks. And if you kind of look closely, if Tezzeret the Seeker gets swapped out for Repurposing Bay, and maybe you take out some mana drains and Thirst for Knowledges and put in some stock ups, very similar deck. So let's see who wins this pseudo mirror. I've got mana, Moxen, counter magic. What more can a guy ask for? Maybe I'll finally tinker for a Bolus Citadel. We haven't gotten to do that yet. Black mana. Thoughtseize? I don't really want to get Thoughtseized. Uh-oh. I mean, I don't... It's like kind of bad if my opponent takes Sapphire. I really don't want to get Thoughtseize. I'm going to negate this. I still have Tinker with Force backup, so I think I just would rather not lose my Tinker for fun. And I get some nice draws here that let me go for turn 1 Tinker. That's one of them. Oh, I can actually... I guess I can't do Tinker off without a land drop used, but it's okay. We're definitely going for this. Probably should have played around Daze and not sequenced like that, but it's fine. All right, I'm tinkering. I'm tinkering for a Bolus Citadel. I got a Metamorph. Should I get a second Bolus Citadel, chat? I guess we'll cast Metamorph. Well, I'm gonna get a second Sapphire. That's gotta be cheating. I'm gonna leave the Force on top and pass. That's totally acceptable here. This might be one of the on the low end of Citadel decks, considering how much our spells take damage. But a Citadel is still a Citadel, so it could have been worse. I could have had no Sapphire. It's okay. Now we're gonna go to our next turn. We got stock up. We got Force. We have a Citadel. Ancient Tomb. Sure. Sink into Stupor with no targets is not castable. True. True. I'll cast stock up, I guess. All right, we got a Repurposing Bay, a Sink into Stupor, a Talon Gates, and a One Ring. I actually think I'm going to take Sink into Stupor, Repurposing Bay, so I can have double Force. We can find more One Rings. Got a Key on top. Let's do that. And then we're stuck on an Ancient Tomb again. Stock up is real sweet. Can't complain about stock up. Ooh, Undercity Sewers. All right, let's go. Opponent is adapting. Love it. It's kind of a cool art. I don't know if I've seen that art. I like it, though. Necromancy. Oh, we're playing some Reanimator, some scam. All right. Love it. Maybe we're playing some Dragon. Could be. Blue, red, Merchant Scroll. Sure. Oh, nice new future sight. Not future sight. Mystery Booster Merchant Scroll. You gonna cast Ancestral now, or are you gonna cast Ancestral later? Either way, I'm going to force it. I think I'd rather have this Repurposing Bay, though I don't currently have... Oh, I was going to say I don't currently have a thing to turn into a thing, but I do. Do I have enough blue mana to protect my Repurposing Bay? Oh, now I have a Time Walk, so that's pretty good. All right, I have a lot of things. So now I have blue, this, Repurposing Bay, and then I will repurpose my Soul Ring, and I will turn it into a Time Vault, and then I will take infinite turns, and I win the game. That was not the strongest Citadel draw, but it was definitely a fine Citadel draw, because the Citadel just found us a force, and then we could just have double force the whole game. It's fine. Yes, we can Chain of Vapor our Moxen back to our hand. We could do that. I just chose not to because I had force backup. So, but you are correct, of course. That was definitely a line I was considering. All right, so my opponent is playing some kind of Reanimator deck. I'm gonna bring in Lantern here. Is that my only graveyard hate? Does look like it's my only graveyard hate, huh? I'm gonna bring in Lantern. I'm gonna bring in Flusterstorm. I'm gonna bring in Hull Breacher possibly, or I'm not sure on the Hull Breacher yet. No, I think I kind of like all my cards. This card doesn't seem very useful. Metamorph seems pretty sweet though. I don't feel like I want to have this Golos here. Yeah, maybe the whole idea of like going for Golos is just silly. Like if you ever have a ring in play, unless there's something stopping you from activating it, when would you ever want to get rid of it? I guess you do want to be able to get rid of it if it's dealing you too much damage. So it'd be nice to have something to search for, but you don't have to have something to search for. On the draw, let's take out this Vexing Bauble. Let's take out this Mystical Tutor. And let's take out one Repurposing Bay. All right, let's try that. I don't exactly know what's in my opponent's deck, but... So, yeah, I tried yesterday's challenge. I tried one Paradox Engine, and I tried one Mightstone Weakstone, and I just don't really want any, so... I mean, this hand has a ring. I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, I mean, most of the time you play a Repurposing Bay and then instantly win by tutoring for Vault Key. So it's not the most interesting toolbox, but Entomb. All right. What are they entombing? Hopefully it's not Atraxa. I guess do we beat World Gorger Dragon combo with Ring? For some reason, I feel like my opponent is gonna World Gorger Dragon combo me. They just seem like that they're that kind of player. I'm like pretty worried here for our safety, but I'm like very worried for our safety here. Oh, so technically I could use a Grim Monolith as +1 mana to try to be able to ring draw into a Soul Guide Lantern. That's a thing I could do. They certainly could go for an Inkwell Leviathan. I'm just hoping they don't go for a good card. They went for Psychic Frog. No. You can't make this shit up. I'm so glad we played I'm so glad we played. I'm so glad we played this match. Oh my god. That's a great Twitter post. Oh, holy that's beautiful. I love that. I love that for them. For some reason I feel like my Wondering is getting countered here. I'm not gonna use that Monolith. If they have a daze, they have a daze. My Wondering did not get countered here. Okay. This is why you stream, because if I wasn't streaming this, would it have been so good? Oh, no rod. Okay, banger. I like that. I don't like that, but oh man, all the fun just instantly died. I think they're gonna bounce my One Ring by Sacking a land. Oh, wait. Can I ring in response to their chain on my ring? Is that a thing I can do? How does this work? Oh, they are gonna do it. I can. Okay, cool. I'll draw cards. Oh my god. Should I sacrifice this and bounce this monolith back to my hand? Probably. Okay, I am gonna go Mana Vaults. Monolith. Monolith. I'm just trying to get... Oh, I don't have a land drop? Oh, I thought I had a land drop. I was gonna try to bait... Can I still bait? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can't go for... I can. This costs 8 mana, right? Oh, I was gonna go for, bait a Mindbreak Trap with a ring, but... Looks like, that's not happening. Okay, they're dead. Yeah, that was definitely something that could happen. I do think that this is actually a good example of why you would theoretically want to play this kind of deck. It does have really broken hands. Now, it doesn't have as many broken hands as, say, something like Jewel, right? But you do have turn 1 Tinkers, you have turn 2 Vault Keys, you have turn 1 Vault Keys, you have turn 1 Rings. So, like, you do have a lot of very powerful draws. And even though the first 2 rounds of this tournament, we haven't really been able to showcase powerful draws, that doesn't mean that they're not there. So, kind of a nice little display of, like, exactly why you would want to play something like this, where you are very powerful, and then you have access to being able to actually cast blue spells, unlike something like Jewel. Not to say that this deck is better than Jewel, because currently it does not look like that is the case. But that is something I'm striving for in deck building right now, is to put together a big blue 1-ring deck that plays a little slower, but plays a little bit more consistently and can cast blue spells. There's definitely a lot of value in a deck like that. It hasn't really come to fruition in Vintage, but I feel like it definitely could. Welcome to round 4 of our Vintage Challenge. We're trying to make that comeback happen. We have the Necromancer across the table, so hopefully they don't keep a 7-card Bazaar of Baghdad hand. I like this hand. I like this hand a lot. 1 Ring is quite good against Dredge. They're not on Dredge? Wow, my opponent revealed a Lurrus. I don't know if I've ever played against Munch not on Dredge. Am I crazy? Like, I'm making that up, am I? Hold on. Dashboard, search. Have they played a non-Dredge match deck ever? Munch, Lax, 6. Survey says, what? 1 blue-black Lurrus Control, and then Dredge, Initiative. Wow. All right. I'm going to go with Time Walk, because it lets me play a turn 1 ring, right? So I'm going to go with Time Walk, and then Ancient Tomb 1 ring. I'm going to take 1,000,000 damage, because that's what my deck does. My deck just hurts myself. Kolos. The 1 ring. Got a force. 6-card hand. Got a force. And he forces. And he forces. I feel like if you have a force, you just slam it, right? Oh, pitch to daze. Okay. I was just surprised. Like, they have what? 50 records there, and 3 of them are non-Dredge? That's probably an exaggeration, but it's some very small percentage. You're gonna crack away the bauble, or you like what you see? They do not like what they see. They only have 3 cards here. The bauble's gonna become a 4th. And they found a Lotus. That's pretty good. I probably shouldn't be F6, but I'm pretty lazy. Blue, are they gonna go delving? You have 8 mana, you can do it. Frog. 1 card remaining plus Bobble. All right. All right, I have choices here. I have stock up, or I can go Golosing. Golos. What would you do here, chat? Would you go Golos? They did pitch a Daze. Could go Golos for Saga. Seems pretty good. Kind of think that's the best play. I think Saga is better than Academy here. I don't think I need Academy, and Saga's a very premier threat. I can still play stock up and play Saga tokens. They have to jump every time they frog, so that's not that big of a deal. All right, frog is in the air. I have to be careful of my life total here. Schwamp. Oh, they're gonna immediately buy Lurrus. Okay. Chain of Vapor is an interesting one. I think I'm gonna cast stock up. I guess I'll cast it with these. One Ring, Soul Ring, Mox. So if I take Grim Monolith and I play a Monolith and I play a Key, I can't make a construct and play a ring with any of these, right? I take a Grim Monolith, I have 3 mana. I use the Monolith to make a Key, I have 2 mana. I use the Key to untap the Monolith, I have 1 mana, and then I have 4 mana. And then I play a ring, and I don't have enough to make extra. But I do draw a card. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to play a ring here and win with Vault Key, so it also stops the frog from drawing a card. So I guess the best play is mono. I guess if I do a soul ring, I can make a soul ring, play a free ring. I guess I wouldn't play a free key because I could theoretically draw a Moxen off of my ring. Okay, so I'm gonna go soul ring, 1 ring, and then play a soul ring. I could also draw a blue mana and let me play a chain as well. Stock. Okay. So I'm gonna draw a bunch of cards next turn. I got a lot of things. I'm gonna try to win the game if I can. My opponent's probably gonna go Lurrus, replay Lotus. Don't even know if I want a construct. Pretty sure we're trying to win this game with Volt Key. They did not shuffle. Here's Lurrus. Here's Lotus. 2 cards in my opponent's hand. Oh, Time Walk? What is this? Time Walk. Time Walk doesn't actually help you very much here. Just cycles a card. And lets you replay your Lotus again. So they have Hardcast Force, maybe. 2 cards, 5 mana. Do you have a Lurian Revealed? Lurian Revealed, draw 3. Black mana. Bobble. Crack Bobble, I assume. Another frog. All right, so they have 1 unknown plus a Bobble draw here. And they can't play a Bowmaster. So I think this is a pretty good looking spot. And we can always chain back our ring. Tinker should do it. So we just need to make sure that we win. The best way to make sure we win is probably get a Vexing Bauble. I guess first we should draw. And then Get a Vexing Bauble off this. And then play a key. Oh, you have a Mental Misstep? Wow. I don't have double blue. All right. I don't even have a Mental Misstep in my deck, so I'd have to draw Force. I drew Bolus's Citadel. Okay. Where does that leave us in life? I guess I could have just gotten a key off of my Saga and then tinkered. Uh-oh. What do I want to do? Definitely fucked that up, huh? Yeah. I mean, I think my play was right. I'm just... Oh, I'm only at 9 life. Get Lotus, hold up hard cast negation. Yeah, that would have worked too. That would have also worked. Definitely playing a little fast and loose at the moment. I can just Chain of Vapor this One Ring and get protection again. My opponent does draw extra cards with Bauble. Guess I could negate the Bauble. I could Tinker for a Bay and then use the Bay. It's like not very good. I could just stock up and try to hit a ring myself. What is this? I actually only have 2 rings left in my deck. I don't think this is like super clear. Well, I think a Citadel is like not very good at 9 life in my deck. It's quite bad, I think. I'm trying to figure out if I'm supposed to stock up. I think I'm just supposed to stock up. I can hit another blue mana anyways. Lotus, Force. So I think I want to take Lotus Force, and then I'm going to... I can't actually make Chain of Vanna, chain my One Ring, and play Citadel. I'll take Force and Lotus, and I'm gonna Tinker and play a ring. Force. I'll take Lotus. Play a Lotus. I'm gonna use blue mana, and I'm going to... Do I want to chain their Lurrus? I don't think so. I mean, at some point, these ancient tombs are kind of shit, right? I'm gonna chain this One Ring and play a new One Ring. I'm gonna draw with the One Ring. And then I'm gonna cast stock up. Now I have... Why does this look bad for me? There's nothing left. There's nothing left to Mystical for. I don't want to cast Citadel, chat. All right. Yeah, but I don't have blue mana. I'm just gonna negate this. Why? It's better dig through time. I got spell pierced. Okay, sure. I don't have brainstorm. There's no shuffling in my deck. Well, this deck must be incredibly poorly constructed. Don't I have like 4 repurposing bays in my deck? What is happening? It's a hot take. It's not. It's a 4 of card you can play off of off-color Moxen, Soul Ring, Soul Lands. Like it's quite broken. I'm so screwed. I think I'm just dead. I've gone through 27 cards, not me. I can't stupor my own ring chat. That's a paper play. Oh, man. I mean, I threw the game. I did have to get the Black Lotus instead of the Vexing Bauble to play around the mental misstep. Obviously, that was a mistake. This is crazy to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just time to call it a day here. I don't know. What did I do? Like, we have 4 tutors in our deck that get any artifact, and we've seen none of them. Oh, what if I metamorph Lurrus? Oh, did I have the win? If I had just metamorphed Lurrus with this Tinker? If I metamorph Lurrus, then what do I get? I have Key, Bauble, Lotus. All right, so what if I get a metamorph on Lurrus, bring back Lotus, and play Citadel at 6 life? Is that worth it? This looks like a really bad Citadel at 6 life line. Obviously, I have the key in my yard, but I can't get the key back. I can't get a vault. I can't rebuy the ring with a Lurrus. If I repurposing Bay, I can repurposing Bay into a time vault or something, but it's not very good. I have nothing to repurposing Bay my Golos into. I can get a 1 ring and draw 1 card. I can take a Sensei's Top and spin. All right, whatever. I'm gonna do this play because it's cool. What if I just sink into Stupor or Frog and play another turn? Is that a losing line? It's probably a losing line, right? I have to use my blue mana. Whatever. I'm over it. I threw the game. It's fine. It's my fault. Sink into Stupor. I guess I can hold this and see what they do. Feels like it's better than casting it and just going. I played this game very poorly, obviously. No one in YouTube comments needs to tell me. I'm aware. I thought getting Vexing Bauble was the best play. Clearly it wasn't. I didn't reevaluate for the negation I drew to get a Lotus. Oh, it's just one of those days, man. It's just one of those days. I guess I'm not like losing right now, so. Am I happy with the deck? No. It's very bad. it's not good. Any deck that I go 3-3 with off stream is quite poor when you think Black White Cats has an 80% win rate in challenges off stream. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I played very poorly today. No one is trying to hide that. That is never something I've ever tried to do, actually. It's always weird when people are like, "Oh man, this guy can't accept when he's wrong." And I'm like, "Have you seen any of my streams?" It's not actually like Jewel. I think it's very not like Jewel, actually. It's closer to Dissolutionist, Mana Drain, Ring. It doesn't actually play anything like Jewel. All right, my opponent demonic tutored. I don't know what they demonic tutored for, but it is what it is. Bowmaster? Does this mean they went for a Twister? I assume this means they went for Twister. They went for double Bowmaster? Hop both frogs, I guess. Oh, and Fatal Push. Oh, am I dead to hop both frogs? No. So I force this. And then I take 2, and then I attack and get 3 life back. It's probably not enough. Can't draw any cards at this point. Okay, yeah. I did not play this game particularly well. Technically, can still win, right? I go to 1, I go to 4, I can drop Volt Key and win off the top. How close am I to Golosing? If I hit a Mox, Emerald, or Pearl, I can Golos. I've not Golosed in a very long time. Because I do have a Black Lotus in my... all I need to do is hit a Time Vault, because I have a key in my yard still. They drew a Strip Mine for my 1 blue land. Alright, what do you got for me, deck? Negation's a dead draw? That's crazy. Unreal. Oh, man. An actual factual just dead draw. So I can technically draw through this with a bobble, but I think that leaves me on not very many outs. Wait, what? No, go do that again. Opponent, go back. Why? Yeah, I guess if they block with the army token, we can't. It's true. All right. Island is fine. We need to see, in no uncertain terms, we need to see this island, and then we need to see Mox Emerald, and then we need to see Mox Pearl, and then we need to activate Golos and hit Volt Key. Oh, man. That's a sink into stupor, bro. I swear my deck hates me. I threw that game, though. It was a 1 game. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. He said it's fine. All right. Negation's out. Mystical out. Dismembers in. Sphinx in. Flusterstorms in. Probably want to have a Steel Sabotage. I don't really want to play a Steel Sabotage, though. I don't want to play the game anymore. I'm not going to lie to you. If I resolved a repurposing bay at any point in that game, I could never have lost. I couldn't have thrown if I tried. Like I actively, it was actively impossible for me to throw the game if I had simply found a repurposing bay at any point, put it into play, and then just tutored twice. How bad am I at Magic? I'm gonna get rid of this Metamorph, I think. Well, it was kind of sick. I'll cut one of these or something. I don't know. I'm gonna cut some random cards. Submit. Submit. I can't believe that happened. But yeah. Sure. I'm gonna cast some stock ups. Let's find some cards. Ah. Vault Key, you say? See, like, what was my stock ups doing in the other games? I guess I'm gonna play Bobble Time Vault. Well, no, that makes me weak to Wasteland. Actually, everything makes me weak to Wasteland. Should I just stock up for mana? That seems bad. I guess I can play Bobble Key. Yeah, let's do that. I think this is the best play, because this means I just need... I think this gives me a lot of options. Like, this is good against Wasteland. It's good against Force. It's good against... not Null Rod. I like this. I think this is good. It's good against Spell Pierce. It's not good against Consigned to Memory. Am I getting Ancestral to my upkeep? Please do that. Please do that. Cast Ancestral Recall. Do it. Love it. Resolves. Good game. Technically, I do need to beat my own Ancient Tomb here. All right, cool. Vexing Bobble chat. Vexing Bobble. Can I get some Vexing Bobbles in chat? Yay. Should be 2-0. It's fine. We actually gotta win one more match against Lurrus. How hard could it be? How hard could it be? With this pilot, pretty hard. Oh boy. Oh, okay. Yeah, those are magic cards. We can check out the Bay Area. Little life. Moxen? I saw that deck doesn't play any Moxen. Turn 1, Frog. Turn 1, Null Rod. Turn 1, Lavinia. What are we doing? How much of a vintage staple is stock up? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Ancestral? Wait, what? Wait. My opponent went Sapphire, Bobble, activate, go to my upkeep, Brainstorm. That's a banger. I think stock up is quite good. Stock up to dig through time? It's like, it's a turn 1 castable dig through time. Think of it like that. Yeah, it's a vexing bobble. You're gonna force it. You gotta have to force it. Sorry. Sorry. You're gonna have to. You just have to force it. My mana base wants to hurt me, Zashad. All right, we have a resolver. All right, I guess we're gonna resolve the Bay area. Now, am I supposed to play a tap land here? I think so. When I was playing Lurrus PO, if I resolved a stock up, I felt like I could never lose. When I play this deck and I resolve a stock up, all I can think about is how I'm going to lose. I mean, if I get null rotted here, it's a little annoying at least. But next turn I can turn this jet into a key. And then we can turn this bobble into a time vault maybe. Got a frog. I could just stink into stupor this frog. Oh, a soul ring is sweet. So I can turn this jet into a key, and then I definitely am turning something into a key, a jet into a key. Yes, I'm turning this jet into a key. What I'm doing with the key is still up for debate. I guess I can't sink into stupor this frog. I can't untap and use this repurposing bay again either. I feel like I could have done something better than this. Oh well. I guess I'm taking a frog hit and hoping they don't have a null rod. Because I'm going off next turn. I guess I still have sink into stupor next turn as well. So, but they probably have. I guess if they tap out for a null rod, maybe I can sink into stupor and null rod and still win. Yeah, sorcery only. Are you dead? The fact that I resolved a repurposing bay is quite good. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna untap my soul ring. If they have a null rod here, though, I guess a wasteland plus null rod is pretty good. Holy moly. So do I think I'm going to draw another land? That's so frustrating. Yeah, I'll draw Tolarian. That's Wormcoil Engine. This looks like a game I've lost now, sadly. I have a lot of decent options to beat an Elrond, but don't think like they have to like Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm or anything, or even like second Wasteland here. Those all just beat me, sadly. Actually, also, if I have 1 mana, then I actually can't repurpose and activate in the same turn either. My opponent drew another Ancestral. I won my thing in that vintage pop-up league where the top finishers all got there. Oh, all right. Should I wait until my opponent like taps out to try to sink into stupor, or should I just make them have a Spell Pierce right now? I guess because I don't win the game automatically on my turn, I should just wait and see if I can like sneak a spot. This is my last sink into stupor too, so it kind of has to resolve no matter what. They should probably pitch some cards to this stupid frog because they can kill me faster. Tap out. Play a frog, bro. Buy a Lurrus, bro. Do anything. I don't think... they're pitching to hand size. I don't think I can win this game, man. Oh, where's a Saga? Okay. Sync would do it for sure. If a sync resolved, it would work. No, just stop playing threats, man. I think I'm dead. My opponent having the Wasteland was so brutal. Sag. Oh well. I feel like I could have sequenced slightly better in this game, maybe. It's possible. I'm pretty sure there was like some way for me to activate my Bay twice, which is what I really wanted to do. Maybe that doesn't matter. If I had drawn different lands, it could have been better. Oh, I don't think Lurrus is a pain to watch. Lurrus is a pretty sweet deck. It's just like good, high quality magic. My opponent pitched a Shramp? Why'd you keep it in a swamp versus me at all? Board that shit out. I was gonna do it on their end step. ZZZ deck. I don't know, man. This is like as pure as Magic gets. I don't think there's like any sequence here where I can do anything that matters. So I guess I'm going to try to sink into stupor now. Yeah, they had a null rod. What do you want from me? Play better? Sure. I think I have a chain in my deck. Probably have a Spell Pierce. What are these magic cards? They're terrible. Sag. Oh yeah, I mean it's not my type of deck either, but like it's definitely not ZZZ. The only deck that's super ZZZ is Jewel, in my opinion. That deck is boring. This deck is just bad, I think. Obviously, I threw game one, so that's kind of coloring the thing here, but Dredge? Yeah, Dredge too, probably. I don't know. I'm not upset that I didn't record yesterday, because yesterday was kind of as bad as this was. Jewel is the most fun. See, different, people like different things in Magic, but yeah, I would be very happy if Jewel was just never existed. I feel like a blue combo artifact deck that is not Jewel would be much more interesting. But it is what it is. Nadu is really cool. Things don't seem to be going well. Yes, I'm aware. I registered the Ancient Tomb One Ring deck. Of course, things are not going well. All right, here we go. Looking back at our round here, there were probably only 2 spots that were super bad. Obviously, we looked at all of game 3, and game 3 we just played exactly how we were supposed to play, and it didn't work out, so that's fine. Game 1, though, right here from this spot, after drawing Tinker, we are in a winning position. And I correctly use the One Ring, but incorrectly evaluate post One Ring. Once I've drawn this negation, I just need to have this Saga get a Lotus. So then I have negation backup for my key plus Tinker for the Tinker for Volkey. That would have covered more things than Bobble. Obviously, Bobble was a problem here where it didn't do anything. So then obviously cracking here in response is like fine. We have 4 forces to draw to, so I'm not really upset about that crack. But we obviously crack into Citadel, which means we can't Tinker into it. That being said, we do still have a reasonable line here that we don't go down, which is use Tinker, tinkering away the One Ring, getting a Repurposing Bay, using an Ancient Tomb to repurpose the Soul Ring into a Time Vault, or repurpose the Moxen into a key, and then just hope that I don't die on the next attack in the air to Frogs, which is reasonably likely. I don't think it's like a crazy you know, we have a negation, so we have some counter magic, and we can block this Lurrus, and the frogs currently are only going to deal 3 extra max, I should say. So I should 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 max at the moment, but they could of course draw like crews and stuff. But if I just untap again, then I just use my Repurposing Bay to turn the other piece of the Valky combo. So I think here is like I got flustered after messing up and then didn't make the right play. Wait, we did make some fun plays though. You can't really. I mean, you could theoretically have gone Citadel here instead, trying to replay the ring. I just felt like going another turn would be fine, especially if we just like find repurposing bays. Like if we like even going into the next turn here, if this stock up finds a repurposing bay, we can probably tinker and repurposing bay for Volt Key with force backup. So it's like it's kind of crazy, but at the same time, probably just small things that we can change. We kind of gave ourselves the opportunity to lose is what I would usually categorize that as. That kind of thing. All right, chat, just because I like you guys, I will continue to throw matches for content. What are these hands? Why am I... Hello? This hand's so good. No, it doesn't have to be black. It just had to be target. Oh my god, I threw the game away. I was not looking. I was reading chat. All right. Well, okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's definitely fine. I'm definitely not dead because of that. I'm definitely not dead because of that. I was talking with chat about our mana matrix. And now I'm gonna die. Oh no, no, I can't force it. Human? What's a human? Don't we name cleric? All right, that's fine. We have enough mana. No problem. No problem. I guess that means there's a Seasoned Dungeoneer coming after this. Bro, if I had just cast Ancestral this game and forced Mana Crypt, could I ever have lost? Streaming is an advantage, though. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. It's okay. I'm gonna draw Time Vaults. Can we find? They named Manifold Key. What a beast. Should I actually just cycle this into a blue mana in case I draw more Moxen? I can always untap. I could also hold this Academy for later. Let's do it. Does this win on the spot? Oh god, what if they play a Witch Enchanter? So this makes 2 mana, so I can play a Repurposing Bay, but I can't use it. Alright, so I think I'm just supposed to play an island and play a Repurposing Bay. I'll go for the win next turn. Enchanter is a human. That's not good. Strip Mine. Ha! I played around it. I'm not that bad, chat. I'm only a little bad. Wait a second. I still can't do this, though, right? Because I need to have 3 mana for this and 2 mana for this. So I should just play Island and turn this into a Time Vault, right? I think so. I mean, if they had an Enchanter, they would have used the Enchanter to kill the Repurposing Bay. So clearly they don't have an Enchanter. think. Post-combat attack is... Alright, they just have nothing? Weird. Okay. Vault key, baby! I definitely didn't play this game very well, but it doesn't matter. Time vault key. Time vault key. Time vault key. Okay, mono white initiative. I have some dismembers here. I've got a steel sabotage. Circle's recall might actually be worth it. And I have a mind break trap. Do you bring in worm coil? You bring in Sphinx and worm coil in this matchup or nah? I think Citadel sounds bad. I think Karn sounds bad on the draw for sure. Bobble sounds bad. Now that I cut Mental Misstep and Probe, I don't really have a lot of things to cut. Definitely want to trim some of these higher mana cost stuff. I think this worm coil is bad, but I feel like being able to tutor for Sphinx is good. Let's do something like this. As you start to pick up more losses on a stream, you just start to sideboard a little more loosely. Yeah, I mean, this looks fine. Please do not reveal a Chancellor on me. I don't need that in my life. I would not like that. No! All right, maybe don't play anything that matters on turn one. Island, go. Plains, go. Plains, go. Wasteland. Chromox. I'm not willing to throw 2 forces into this stuff. Unless they play a Null Rod. All right, so hopefully there's no Cavern. There's nothing? Oh, there's still a Chancellor, Justin. 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 Okay, I'm going to probably play a Mystical Tutor for an Ancestral Recall. I wanted to get a Tinker, but... Can't believe they kept this. I feel good about it now. Not going to Wasteland me either. All right, I'm going to get this thing off my plate here. I will pay for this, and I will take Ancestral Recall. And I will cast Ancestral Recall on my turn because I'm a savage. Who cares about going up to 9 cards? Not me. Oh, I should have cared. My bad. Why didn't he care? Why didn't he care? Do I get them to try to Wasteland this? All right. I have how many cards? 8 cards. I guess a negation. Stock up is going to go away. I'm never going to stock up 3 times in this game. That does not seem like something that's happening. A Soul Ring. That seems like something I don't want to happen. No, no Soul Ring. Well, now I just make a construct, right? Or do I just draw cards? Or do I just cast stock up? Actually, probably make cast stock up and make a construct. So I will take Mana Vault and Time Vault and Island and make them Wasteland me. Does that make sense? Or did I play an Island already? I already played an Island. Shit, I have to take Mana Vault. I guess that's fine. Fine. This could not be the correct choices for me, but whatever, it's fine. I don't know. I assume my saga has to get wastelanded, right? Right? Surely. Surely my saga has to get wastelanded. Surely. Now we're getting wastelanded? Okay. All right. Sure. Huh? The Golos. I don't have mana for it. I got a ring, though. Banana phone. Doo -doo. Ring, 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 ring. I don't think you made the best choices. I agree. I'm making choices at random. I don't know if you noticed. Okay. 2-3 bracket. Yay. Okay, here we go. 6th and final round. Try to go back to 3-3. I'll try to play this game a little tighter. Obviously, I was losing focus along the way. My opponent has revealed a cat. I have a nice handful of mana and a stock up. I'm down. Let's battle. See if we can make this play. Make some any learnings. Make some new heuristics. Do something. Make something happen. I really don't like my deck, and I kind of went into the day not liking my deck, which has definitely affected the way I played all day, which is unfortunate because trying to make, making good content is always one of the things I'm trying to do here. Soul Guide Lantern, sure. All right, so my opponent played a Wasteland, cantrip to Soul Guide, cantrip to Bauble, and played a Soul Guide Lantern. That's not a bad draw. So I like Island, Ruby, Lotus. Why did I choose to play it? Because I wanted to make content with Repurposing Bay. I talked about Repurposing Bay in my video about cards from Aetherdrift, and I wanted to make content. I certainly plan to make content with all the cards I talked about. I'm gonna play a Mana Vault. Play a Manifold Key. I'm gonna play a stock up. Cool. Should I crack my Lotus, untap my Mana Vault, and play a Karn? And I can also Mystical for an Ancestral, maybe? Certainly seems like an interesting idea. Is that the best play? So if I crack my Lotus, I have 3 mana, and then I go to 2 blue and 3 mana, 3 colorless. And I can play Karn and Mystical Tutor. Or I could get a Needle and play Needle on Wasteland. I'm not sure about Ketramos. The fact that Ketramos is a white-black card, and doesn't fit into Lurrus makes it very hard to justify. We'll see. Like, the Repurposing Bay not fitting into Lurrus is, like, kind of justifiable by the fact it's a blue artifact, right? I wonder if I'm just supposed to take Metamorph Karn. That way, if my opponent plays a creature, I can just Metamorph it on the next turn. I kind of like this idea better. I don't know if it's correct, though. I am going to get a Needle on Wasteland. I'd like to be able to make sure my Ancient Tomb sticks around. See what happens. All right. I mean, that's a very powerful turn 1. My opponent is off it. Well, that does happen in the 2-3 bracket. My deck is quite powerful. It's just quite clunky. All right. We are boarding versus Lurrus. I don't know if it's blue-black or not. I kind of think it probably is. So I'm going to bring in this engine here, and I'm going to bring in Dismembers, and I'm going to bring in Flusterstorms and Hull Breachers, and Steel Sabotage, maybe. I kind of hate the idea of bringing in Steel Sabotage. I have a chain. I have 4 sinks. Take out mystical and forces. I think that's where I'd like to be. That's just how I feel about this matchup. I know that like force is great at helping push things through, but I feel like just having more action. Ugh, only one piece of action, but can't mulligan this one. Oh god. Oh god. Is it Lavinia? No, it's a frog. Okay, much less scary. Well, if my opponent has a force, I lose. If my opponent does not have a force, things certainly get better. All right, I'm going to play Ancient Doom and Soul Ring and see what my opponent does. Okay. I mean, I think I should play around Daze, and I don't think I should play around Mindbreak Trap. Key. Lotus. I don't think I want to play this Monolith. I think I'm just going to play around Daze. Got a force? No force? I'll draw before this trigger happens so I can draw the Ancestral Recall. At this point, it probably doesn't matter, but I will... I'm going to hold this blue mana and then use Mana Crypt to untap this and draw. Maybe I should have played the Grim Monolith here so I could play Study. Yeah, Justin, you're bad. You're just sucking. You're terrible. Play slower. So if I had used my Grim Mana Crypt to play Grim Monolith, it doesn't necessarily do anything for me and might cost me Grim Monolith mana. But if I had done it, I would have been able to play a Stock Up or a Hull Breacher if I were to draw them, which I just immediately did. It's not a huge deal, but it is my blue mana, and I don't actually have more blue mana. So if my opponent plays like a Bowmaster here or something, it's kind of bad for me. They can't get a frog hit in, though, so that's good. Looks like they might hold up a hard cast something. But yeah, I mean, this play was just bad. I should have played the Monolith and took the random loss there. All right, so I'm going to activate my One Ring. Do you have a black Bowmaster? You do. I'm going to respond to the Bowmaster by untapping my One Ring and activating my One Ring again. Yep. Your Bowmaster resolves. My One Ring resolves. All right. I mean, I don't have a force, right? Because I boarded forces out. But I do have everything else. So I think the answer is just... I'm actually not sure. I think the answer is just go to my next turn. Take 7. I guess I should just play this Metamorph as a ring. And then I just get rid of that Mana Crypt and we're good. All right, I mean, we did the powerful thing, so... I don't know. This deck is definitely powerful. I feel like the combination of me not playing very well and some pretty horrific variants in the first couple of rounds made this deck not look as good as I think it is. But it's doing extremely powerful things. I don't know. What do you think, chat? Am I crazy? I don't feel like this deck is as bad as I made it look today. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I mean, like, there are some really powerful hands. I don't know. I feel like it's a little unfortunate that I don't know. It does feel like a 3-3 deck to me though. Like 3-3 feels like what I should expect to get out of this is the thing. Because you're just gonna win a bunch of free games and you're gonna lose a bunch of free games, right? I still think if I were like forced to go into a showcase or some event and I had to choose between this deck and playing like Jewel, I would do it. I would play this deck over Jewel. Because I just like to be able to cast my spells. Spinnies, but it's like a little bit more of a personal preference thing. Like clearly Jewel is more consistent and more powerful. But like being able to cast blue spells is a huge upside in my opinion, and an upside that I'm really interested in getting because I don't like when I like let games go to coin flips. I just want to have my force on turn 1 every time so that I can't ever just randomly lose and then play out from there and try to use like my skill and knowledge of the format to win games. That's how I like to play Vintage. So it tickles my fancy in that matter. Should I try to make this Golos? I don't know what we're doing here anymore. Should I try to make this Golos activate? I have green, blue. I just keep lagging now. It's like the only lag I've had all day. It was randomly right now. At some point I can make unblockable because I have 2 keys, so. All right. So we did end up going 3-2. So overall, this deck has gone 6-6, which is, I think, actually an under expectations because I truly believe that multiple matches today were lost because of me, and I also know multiple matches were lost yesterday because of me. And then there were definitely some spots where we just like cast a bunch of stock ups and missed, which is just magic. So this deck is really interesting. I hope that somebody takes up this idea and starts brewing in the space. I really believe there should be a one ring controlling deck, a one ring, some kind of one ring deck that is not the Jewel. And I don't think repurposing Bay is bad. I don't think it's good, unfortunately. But it does do a very powerful thing, and that is activating your ability to Time Vault Key consistently. Time Vault Key is a combination worth trying to assemble. It obviously you can only play one Time Vault, but there are so many ways to find your one Time Vault that it's totally worth trying to do. I agree. There probably shouldn't be 4 repurposing bays. I kind of wanted it for content and for the likelihood of things happening. But even then, we had some trouble finding our repurposing bays in games that it would have very easily won. Though some of that was me not tinkering for repurposing bay, which is an interesting line, but something I didn't think about. Stock Up looked a lot worse in this deck than it did in our last deck. But I also think that our last deck had like a lot more variety of things you can get off your Stock Up, and this deck is a lot of 4-ofs, so it kind of makes sense that it would be a little worse. I'm surprised that we weren't able to do as many like Island into Ancient Tomb cast Stock Up lines. I thought that would be something that would happen a lot in this deck, and it didn't really seem to occur for most of the day. I wouldn't play Transmute with Ancient Tombs. So, but if you were to play all islands, then sure, there's something along the line. It's also possible that like going this one ring Ancient Tomb path was not very appropriate. We'd lost a lot of health dealing self damage between Ancient Tomb, the one ring, Sink into Stupor, Mana Crypt flips. It actually was very detrimental to our success, the amount of damage our deck dealt to itself. I just thought it had natural synergy together and let us do more powerful and more consistent things. But that might be approaching it from the wrong angle too. This was, like I said, a brew. I started this brew last night before the challenge, 5 minutes before the challenge. I was able to finish it with 15 seconds left to register. And then I changed a few cards up today to make it a little bit more consistent and flowing. But overall, I think mostly I wasn't really able to showcase the true power of this deck until maybe a couple of the last rounds. So thank you for hanging out today, chat. I know it's not always sunshine and rainbows over here, but I am pretty excited overall about how Aetherdrift is changing the format. I expect to be doing serious testing of Lurrus PO for the next showcase, which is in a couple weekends from now. It'll be the first weekend, or it'll be the second weekend of March, I believe. So we'll have 2 more weekends before the next showcase weekend. I do expect to either be playing Lurrus PO or Doomsday in the next showcase weekend, and we'll do some serious testing for that. However, in the next couple Wednesdays, we have a bunch of other cards that we want to test out for Aetherdrift. I will make a video with Monument to Endurance. I will make a video where we try to Agatha's Soul Cauldron loot. That sounds like a great time. So there's a lot more cards in Aetherdrift that I want to try out that are maybe a little bit less applicable than Stock Up or Momentum Breaker. So thanks for hanging out today, chat. I'm gonna send you guys somewhere else. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.